Hello, once again. I am Doc Rotten, and this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-host on the net. And tonight we're doing it. We're reviewing Godzilla versus Kong. Yay!
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, everybody does it. All right. Joining me tonight is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. Christopher, how you doing, sir?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Kong smash.
Kong smash. That's great. Also joining us is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, the one and only Vanessa. Vanessa, how you doing?
Wonderful. Feeling like a champ.
You're feeling like a champ. All right. We have some special guests tonight, all the way over from a Gruesome Magazine, the one and only Jeff Moore. Jeff, welcome, sir.
Thank you for the invite. It's good to be here.
Yes, well, we gotta celebrate. Right, we gotta celebrate. All right, also joining us, also from Gruesome Magazine and various other podcasts, is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. How you doing?
I'm good. Oliver and I are good. Say hi. 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 Yeah, he's like smacking me around, and I take it. I just take it.
All right. Last but not least is our guest host from the decades of the 1970s. We like to call him the all-around nice guy. Yes, it's Bill Mulligan. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. I'm just happy to be here on this topic. Godzilla all the way.
Yeah, you might be the most kaiju of us, right?
Yeah, that's a bold statement considering who's here, but I've been doing it the longest. Let's say that. So that counts for something.
I mean, there is, it is in your email address.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to review Godzilla vs. Kong, which landed today as we're recording this on HBOMAX and also in theaters across the states. It has already debuted internationally and is bringing in the bank, kind of showing the promise of rebounding after a year of COVID. Maybe, let's hope. I don't know, but
It's like 1980s box office, so it's kind of funny how post-pandemic, the best post-pandemic,
I know, it's weird.
box office ever.
But what we're going to do is we're going to give our first impressions, and then after that, we're just going to dive into it. Spoilers after first impressions. We're going to try not to do spoilers during first impressions, but once we get into discussion, all spoilers. And then we're going to wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And yes, there are enough favorite scenes to choose between the 6 of us. I guarantee it. All right, what film are we talking about? As if you did not know. Yes, Godzilla vs. Kong, a 2021 Warner Brothers Legendary Films, available in theaters, HBOMAX, March 31st, 2021 in the States. An epic next chapter of the cinematic Monsterverse pits two of the greatest icons in the motion picture history against one another, the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance. Directed by Adam Wingard, written by Eric Pearson and Mac Bornstein, Terry Rossio, Mike Doherty, and Zach Shields. So the cast includes Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, Shauna Guri, Elsa Gonzalez, Julian Dennison, Lance Heretic, Kyle Chandler, Blue Eyes himself, Demian Bitcher, and Kaylee Hubble. Yes. This is okay. Some history here. I am a huge Godzilla kaiju monster movie fan. Give me Godzilla, give me King Kong, give me Gamera. Give me them. Give me anything with big monsters. I love it. When we got the Godzilla movie, flaws and all, freckles and all, loved it. The Kong, Skull Island, loved it. Might have been the best of the first three, which the other one was Godzilla, King of the Monsters. There was a lot to love in King of the Monsters, but it was over long. This one comes in at 2 hours, and that really, really works. Although I do recall that we were very nervous about Adam Wingard taking this. And one of the discussions is, did he live up to the challenge of doing this film? So let's find out. Let's dive into this. Vanessa, you are going to go first.
Me?
What was your first impression of Godzilla vs. Kong?
From the opening scene, I was hooked. It got me like right here. And Are we going full spoilers on this?
Not until we discuss
Not
it. First
Okay.
impressions. No.
Before I do too much, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I had so much fun watching it. I can't wait to watch it again. I hate that I had to wait until 6:00 today to watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Everything.
God, that scared me.
Wow.
You know what team I'm
Are you? See, I was asking them. I was like, So see,
I don't.
No,
We do
no.
have-
Hey, can I answer the rest like this?
Oh my God! Please
She's
do.
Kong in the streets and Godzilla in the sheets. You know?
Best pandemic mask ever seen. Yeah.
right?
you could totally still hear her underneath.
I
That was
know,
actually
yeah.
pretty impressive.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great. I think we got the impression. All right, Crystal, you're up next. What was your first impression of Godzilla versus Kong?
He's surprising.
Okay. So I loved it too. I actually, speaking of, so I am Team Kong, which I love Godzilla. Godzilla's amazing. He's clearly the cooler of the two, but I love those primates. He's so, the way he fights with that right hook. And, I don't know. I didn't know how I was going to feel going in, and I didn't watch any trailers or any spoilers. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how I was going to feel about the two of them going head to head. It's kind of like the Batman Superman thing. I'm like, why do they keep doing these sorts of things? But I did love it. I liked it. It actually made sense. Okay, the story at its core is a little silly, as with all of these movies, which makes them great. Yeah, I mean, that's the point. But some of the effects I was like really loving when I don't want to spoil anything. We're not going to talk about anything. But when they had some going through portals, and I was like, it's very sci-fi-ish, has a little horror elements to some of it, which I was really digging. So I think the director worked really well in those instances. And then the color in Hong Kong, the neon, I thought it was really beautiful. I feel like they definitely did a good job of like showing all the different worlds and the different feels. And and Kong was so sweet. So, yeah.
He was
I
the
loved
hero.
it.
Was the hero.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is the one and only Bill Mulligan. Sir, your first impression of Godzilla versus Kong.
I really, really liked it, and I was going in with lowered expectations because I fully expected it was just going to be pretty much pro Kong, anti Godzilla for a number of reasons, and I thought they treated both characters very fairly. I think there is a clear winner, but I think both can walk away with their heads held high, and that was well done. The human stuff could not give a rat's ass less concern. As always with these movies, if I look at the plot too carefully, there's elements that are just stupidly ludicrous. But it's called Godzilla versus Kong. Are the fights good? Well, there's about 4 major monster fights, and they're great. So, yeah, happy.
Yeah.
I watched it earlier today. I'm going to watch it again when this is over.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I probably will too.
And then I'm going to watch it one more time when I go home because I'm in New York visiting family right now. Watch it with my wife, who hopefully will not listen to this podcast and not realize that I have not, as I'm supposed to do, not watch the movie without her. So I'm going to have to be surprised, like, oh, Godzilla's in this movie? Oh, I did not see that coming. So
Did not see that coming. All right, Jeff Moore, sir. What was your first impression of Godzilla versus Kong? I feel like we're establishing a pattern here.
We probably are. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I watched it twice today.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to watch it again. My grandson right now is watching this at the theater. So
jealous.
he was all
I
fired
bet
up
it's
with it, so.
amazing at the theater.
Yeah.
The
Oh
sound.
yeah.
Oh,
And I'll be doing that at some point as well. I loved it. I mean, there's some nitpicky things that are not worth even bringing up. Some of it personal preference, some of it minor issues with a few things, but I absolutely loved it. I loved where it went. I loved the stuff we're going to spoil later. I loved that I didn't know anything about. So anyway, good stuff. It was good stuff.
Yeah, there's some surprises if you kept a blind eye to the internet for the past year.
Mhm.
All right. Christopher G. Moore, your first impression, Godzilla versus Kong.
I absolutely love this. In fact, it just made me very sad that I didn't watch this for the first time in a movie theater.
I know.
Yeah,
I got
I know.
my-
I was thinking the same
I got
thing.
my second Pfizer shot yesterday, and I'm almost tempted to go to the theater this week. It is. I think my neighbors are probably. I'm surprised they didn't call the police on me because I had the surround sound on. I was yelling, screaming, cheering, laughing. I love the shit out of this film. It's. I've had problems with the previous ones, at least the most recent ones, because like most of these, we really don't care about the people. But I think this one they did a better balance of that to where I didn't worry as much about that, and it's like I liked King of the Monsters, but I just cared about those really beautiful shots of the monsters, but there really wasn't enough of that. And then you look at the first Godzilla where it felt like it was more about the people than about the monster until the very end. So it's like, and this one you get monsters throughout. If this were a sandwich, it would have every meat known to man inside of it. I mean, I talked to my friend Amanda after it on the phone, and I haven't been feeling too well today because of the second Pfizer shot, but this was a shot of happiness that made me forget I was feeling like shit.
Nice.
Because I mean, literally, and I think my friend Cliff was giving me shit because I was kind of pro Kong because just seeing that shot in the trailer where Kong's like giving him like an uppercut. And I think as much as I like Godzilla, I mean, I do like Kong. I liked how they just gave him so much of a heart in this, and he's not just some hairy brute fighting. You care about him. You care about the connection between man and the little girl, which I really didn't care about the people's connections in the previous films at all. This one I cared about it, and then just the locations. I think the Tokyo location kind of reminded me a little bit of Pacific Rim, but in a good way, to where you have all these different locations, all these crazy, beautiful cinematography, beautiful use of CGI. I think the only thing I had to critique, which I don't mind it so much because I love the films, but I felt like that they had these like futuristic vehicles that looked like stepped out of Tron, and I'm like, what are they going into computer? Or I was like, really, you're going to have LED light? What does LED lights all over your ship do for your ability to do what it needs to do? But yeah, and I did see like a specific spoiler that people thought it was going to go some other way, and it still didn't go the way some of those people who spoiled it thought it was, and I was genuinely happy. And I think what you guys were talking about, I mean, I feel like they give a very nice spotlight to both monsters, and then like the final fight is just, oh my gosh, I mean, it was like it's better than any wrestling a scenario. And this, I felt like I lost like several years and was like a little kid watching this on the big screen. I love the shit out of this, and I can't wait to watch it again, and I can't wait to see it on a big screen because there's like scenes where like you're inside office buildings. And it's almost like if you're in the office building, it's almost like you're watching it on a TV screen. At the same time, like, I don't want to be in that office building because I know I'm going to be probably knocked out of. And a lot of military get killed in this too, in that ocean too.
A lot. Basically, everybody gets killed. There's a lot of death you don't see.
But yeah, I mean, the choreographed fights in this
all of Hong Kong
are better than any of the other films put together. Of the newer versions, and I think Adam Wingard did an amazing job. I didn't even mind. I even liked the little incorporation of music in different scenes. It kind of added something because most of the time they just pump this really orchestral music, and there was like some really cool use of music as well. But yeah, oh man, I can't say enough good things about this.
Can't say enough good things. Obviously, I love this movie. This was everything. Okay, everything I wanted. Right, it delivered. And that, it's Godzilla versus Kong. It's Godzilla versus Kong. And that is a great thing. It has plenty of human people, maybe too many, but you've got some of the people chasing Kong, you got some of the other people chasing the Godzilla storyline, and they do meet and they do battle. There is a clear winner, I think.
I think it's a standoff.
I'd
say it's a standoff.
I don't know, but I do like it, and I liked I love what they did with some of the new worlds we discovered, and I love the sci-fi elements. I love the cinematography is beautiful, especially like when they get to Hong Kong. The lighting is just great when they're face to face yelling at each other. It's so what's one of the cool things is that it incorporates more of the Kong world where Kong was daylight, right? So the two Godzilla movies, most of the time they were at nighttime, right? And this one was very much during the day. So we get to see the monsters in all their glory, and they're wonderful. They're beautifully rendered. And the physicality between the two, you believe the fights. It's actually quite remarkable, I think, what they did. And yes, I can't wait to see it again and again. And I definitely want to find a time to go to the theater in the coming weeks. Yeah. After I get all vaccinated, and oh man, and it makes me want more Monsterverse. I want them to find some way to come back to this. I hope this is a huge success for them. It's going to be hard to tell because of the the global crisis, but yeah, we definitely have to see it. Before we get into things, I want to throw something at my buddy Bill Mulligan down there at the bottom left, depending on how you in the Toho Kong versus Godzilla, there is a famous scene where Kong shoves the tree down his throat. Did you see the homage when he took the axe and started?
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. Yes. Yeah, he took the bottom. Yes, good show. Good catch.
I love that. I thought that was fantastic.
That's funny. Yes, I didn't notice it at the time. Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw this out to the wind. We've got to get to the big surprise in the film. There is a surprise other kaiju. Some may call the worst kept secret of the movie.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Right?
And I'm over here like, hell surprise.
Yes. I just to start off that I love the world building with Kong and the Hollow Earth thing. And when we got hints of it in other movies, because the other creatures were coming out of the ground, and they followed Godzilla to Atlantis or something last movie. So it's a natural progression to this ongoing storyline. And has a little bit of Jurassic Park in it, I think. What do you guys think? Is that just jump on that Hollow Earth thing?
Oh, I totally have always thought it was the Hollow Earth thing. I'm like, they're coming from the ground, and then there's always been the Hollow Earth theory by.
Oh yeah, I know people that believe in that.
People,
But
what? That actually believe in it?
There's
For
people.
real?
I know someone that got mad at me because that's not real. And they sent me pictures of how it works, and there's planes that have gone down in the Antarctica and stuff. Yeah, there's people that believe it's a real thing.
There are.
But I think for this purpose,
ignorance.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Right?
They should all get together with the flat
I'd
earthers.
actually believe that there's dinosaurs at the center of the earth, and I'd be a much happier person if I could use this stupidness to believe that.
Although I will say, when Kong, that whole Hollow Earth scene is gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Just how that they with the gravity, the reverse gravity, and the different.
That's what I was talking
upside
when
down
he's
world.
going and his face is like, and it has like the bright colors. I was like, oh, this is fabulous.
But when he smashes that one monster with the other monster, I was like, man, Kong is definitely king.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the Hollow Earth because it's got that Edgar Rice Burroughs Pellucidar at the Earth's core thing going. I mean, if they want to do another movie, obviously set it at the Earth's core. The one thing that I thought was a sure bet that they didn't follow up on, maybe they will in the sequel, the hero scientist who is so forgettable that I don't even remember his name. This was, he had tried to go to the Earth's core and things went wrong and his brother apparently died.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought for sure they were going to find his brother alive and living at the Earth's core.
They just dropped that.
Well,
Yeah.
they still could do it. They still could do
They
it.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could, but
There's a
they
lot of
just dropped
story.
that out of it. I was kind of wondering that at the end too. I was like, well, I guess he's dead.
There's plenty of scars to cast in the
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
yeah.
your pick.
Pennywise will be there too.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Coming down. That would be weird.
Oh,
Anyway,
he's a kind of like a kaiju. It would work.
yes, he can be.
Yeah.
Big spider.
Can be, if he
All
wants to
right.
be.
The only thing that got me was the descent into it. I really liked, but the ascent back is like,
Lost.
that should take a lot longer than that you just did.
I have taught earth science, and you are correct.
Well, unless there's gravity.
Oh no. Okay, there.
Yeah, maybe you got a
Yeah.
slingshot.
Unless the reverse gravity kind of pushes
There you
it.
go.
Yeah.
Sure.
But how are they
Science.
ever going to fill that hole in the middle of Hong Kong? There's going to have a hole to the center of the earth forever.
That's a big sinkhole.
Shouldn't there be
Although-
magma spewing out of it? But no.
Although I was thinking
Um,
after all the Earth that was like, destroyed, and they finally built this city with all these beautiful lights, and now it's just destroyed again.
Oh man, I love the scenes with them going through Hong Kong because it really felt like the old Godzilla movies, where they were spent. I mean, even though it was all CGI, it still felt. Yeah, it did, right? I mean, when they were slamming each other into them
Yeah.
and stuff. Oh,
So-
I was having, yeah.
It reminded
Like
me a
this-
lot of the one from the 90s. Was that against Ghidorah? I think that might have been
Oh.
against Ghidorah.
Yeah, there's
Um,
plenty of those, yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that one. The way the city was shot, the people running around, the conflict of the people in the buildings and everything. It really harkened back to that one.
Just using the city, like Christopher said, it was like a wrestling match, and the buildings were the turnbuckles, and you would just,
Mhm.
you would just grab each
Turnbuckles.
other's heads and slam
Yep.
them into them. It's like, wow.
Well, and
Yeah.
he's like up there hanging and whatever, and he's swinging, and I mean I love that I think that's also the cool part of it, because you have two different monsters and they have their own
Mhm.
abilities. Kong,
Yeah.
Godzilla's not, he's gonna lumber around, he's only gonna be able to move on the ground, but Kong's like swinging around and he can hide way above him and stuff. Or I
And
love it.
Godzilla has little arms.
Yeah, I love it when he pulls his axe out of that building. And,
Yes.
Oh, speaking of the heights, I'm glad that they kept the height difference. It wasn't that it
Yeah.
was so noticeable, but I was wondering, like, are they gonna is he gonna blow up somehow when he gets to this place that he's going? Like, what's gonna happen? But I'm glad they kept that, and you saw that kind of.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more diminutive. He's the oh my god, what is wrong with my brain? He's the underdog. That's what I'm trying to
Yes,
think
yes.
of. He's like the scrappy underdog, and I like that.
It's Rey
Yeah, 'cause-
Mysterio versus the Big Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, let's
But
be
Rey
real.
Mysterio,
Godzilla
he's small,
is
but
way
he's
more
wiry,
BA.
he's quick.
I love
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio. I like
Yeah,
that.
he's got a chance.
Fast.
I thought they used each monster to their advantage. I mean, Godzilla is by far the more powerful, just having the
Yes.
radioactive breath. But Kong is faster and nimble, and he can dodge. So
And you
it's
can hold
like
weapons.
it also reminds me of another one. One of my favorite mismatches, the final
Opposing
sword fight in
Batman.
Rob Roy, where one character is carrying a giant sword, and the other one has the smaller, quicker one. And if the one guy hits him, it's over. The fight's over. If Godzilla hits him once with that radioactive breath, the fight is over. But he's got to hit him. And in the
Mhm.
meantime,
Well, he did hit him
Kong is-
once.
he did, yeah.
Ah!
Kong's zipping around. Yeah.
Send some fur. Send
It
some fur.
was so good. I was like, oh,
He
he's
just lasered some fur
Connor.
off of him.
Yeah.
Laser him.
Singed his fur.
They did such
Laser
a good
hair
job on the
removal.
fights.
It was a little red for a bit, yeah. I also love the sci-fi elements of this. A lot of the old Godzilla films would have very sci-fi elements. A lot of times it would involve aliens. This time we just get corporate hijinks, but it works. I love the tunnel.
They did
from-
change, where Mecha came from.
Yes, they did.
Mhm.
Yes,
So-
and I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I love the what was it, from wherever it was in the States, just over to Hong Kong, and they just zipped along. Jeff, what did you think? Did the sci-fi elements bring something cool to this?
It was electromagic
Electro magic.
Oh, wow.
thingies. I mean, they
Evil
didn't really
monorail.
justify anything. They just did it, and it was fun. I mean, you had to just go, okay, whatever
Yeah.
you show me and say it works, I'm in.
Yeah.
Because we have a 300, 400 foot monsters fighting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you get some allowance, right? You get some allowance.
Yeah. So I liked it. I'll stop there.
Okay. Bill, as movie science goes, Bill, right?
The one thing that bothered me, and I think Chris said something about this, some of that stuff, like when they break into the super secret,
Yes.
underground level, all he needs to do is like lick a screwdriver and stab it. That breaks through all the security and opens into the secured level down there. But that's what the hell.
That whole sequence with those characters is the one totally off note for me. Everything from the easy way they break in to let's just pour some booze on the thing and that solves all. It's just so simplistic. And it doesn't make you feel like this is a real mad scientist organization when they're so easily taken out by a couple of kids and a crazy guy. So
50-year-old buildings use key cards. Okay,
But
you're
it's-
telling me you're not going to need a code to get in there?
Yeah.
But it's really pretty science fiction.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's how you get past it. You just throw liquid on all those LED lights,
Yep.
and that's what causes it all to short circuit. I felt like Jeff Bridges was going to show up at some point.
Oh my goodness. Which one? The CGI Jeff Bridges? Or the
Oh,
real?
Young or old?
hopefully not. That's a monster in itself.
What?
Nobody here. Nobody watching this watched the Tron movie. All right.
I watched it. I love it. I own
I know
it.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
own
Of
it.
course, yeah.
That's the only bad part of it. It's
Okay.
CGI.
Okay.
All right. No,
Just
I love it.
because we didn't laugh doesn't mean we didn't get
I have a
stuff.
degree in computer
No, I'm
science
just
because
kidding.
of
I'm
Tron.
just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring up the element. We got to talk about Mechagodzilla because Mechagodzilla is definitely in this. And gets a pretty fun, I guess, debut in the movie. I like this, the leaner design.
Yeah.
And not quite so round garbage can. More like ribs and stuff, and the way they pop open to give them, to power them up. But there's a lot to unpack with this particular character. But first, before we get into some of that, or maybe we just will get into it. But okay, Crystal, what do you think? What
the heck? What the heck were they? Okay, look, my biggest thing is what the heck were they thinking this dude was going to be able to control it? They're connecting the skull. Okay, the whole thing, that was crazy and insane. I was like, what are they thinking? They made this BA robot, and instead of just being like, can we just let this computer control this? No, let's just make it like 10,000 times more difficult on ourselves, and we're going to take this stuff from this skull and like transfer it into this robot, and then this dude is going to wear this LED headset that's going to control it. It's just crazy.
What could go wrong?
And I loved it. I
Nothing
loved
could go
it,
wrong.
but it's stupid, but I still liked it.
That happens a lot
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
movies.
I was like, it's way more complicated.
Well, it really shows the audacity of man, right?
Oh my
Like
God.
you gotta, that's what they're really trying to show at the core of these Godzilla movies, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like man goes too far. You take it too far. You think the kaiju are the problem? Like you guys take it too far. So
yeah.
him being in there and then getting fried because then a kaiju takes it back over is like very poetic.
Yeah.
So what
okay,
you're saying is history shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man.
the folly of man.
Dun, dun, dun,
Life
dun.
finds a way.
There's a good title.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
good title. The all right, so you're getting toward the discussion I really want to get into is that they have the head of Ghidorah in this. The one I guess we saw in the end teaser of the King of Monsters,
King of
right?
Monsters, yeah.
And it literally okay, so they're using the skull to power, right? There's the energy in the skull and they're using it to power. It's not enough. They harness this energy from or they mimic it or something. They do some weird, movie science with the energy from the center of the earth. And but it powers up the skull enough that does King Ghidorah take it back over? I think
That's what I know. I don't know.
got.
All of a sudden, it's sentient, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how is does it?
That's what it is.
What? How's this happening?
And it's a skull. Right? It's just a skull.
yeah. I'm
But
super confused.
And,
Yeah.
and remember,
But-
King Ghidorah was a space. It was believed they sort of mentioned in King of the
He's a
Monsters
space
that
monster,
King of
yeah.
Ghidorah was a space monster. So maybe this isn't.
Oh,
This
so
may
see,
be the
Mecha
sequel.
Godzilla is
Is-
supposed to be an alien too.
Well, that,
so
Possibly.
well, that and it had the
Ooh.
connection between the heads or
Yeah.
whatever. So and so that's that. I guess that's the weird science. Like,
Interesting.
oh, well, this head can connect the
Well,
head of the robot.
here's a question: they cut the satellite feed, right?
yeah.
But does that mean that Ghidorah was shut off, or is that
I don't know.
skull brain still going? You know,
So I thought what that did was that cut him off from the superpower at the core.
right?
Yeah.
That was getting beamed up. I didn't think it cut off his.
Okay.
Oh, the
Yes.
connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Although
because it suddenly became beatable, right?
Although
Yeah.
here's the rumor that I heard before I saw this, where people were saying that Mechagodzilla was actually had a Godzilla skin on him,
Oh, was
and you'd be
pretending to
revealed at some
Godzilla?
point that it wasn't actually Godzilla, and that's a
Yeah.
way that Kong could kill what you thought was Godzilla because it was Mechagodzilla. That's what I heard, and I'm glad
I was
that it totally.
expecting
Glad
that,
it
Christopher.
wasn't.
I'm glad it totally went in a different direction because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this works out even better because then you have like the buddy team up,
Yeah.
powers activated,
Yeah.
working together to fight him, and
We're a finger ring club.
yeah, Wonder Twins activate, form of
Yeah.
an
What's
ape
wrong?
and a
Okay,
lizard.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, well,
That was perfect. Yeah.
did everybody cheer when Kong jumped in and said, "Yeah"?
Heck
okay.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
When he's
Yeah.
doing his little Jackie Chan kung fu stuff with the like,
Yes.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was jumping up off my couch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
then, but
actually-
then when Godzilla does the atomic breath to the axe, that was
That's
Oh,
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
that
Yeah,
was-
I loved that storyline or that part of the story that it's a chunk of Godzilla's spine that his Kong's people put into that hammer or that axe.
It's
that was
so awesome.
freaking
I know.
awesome. That was awesome. And then later
he can
on
have
when Godzilla
power.
when Godzilla's like, I got you, bro, tag me in, and he like charges it up. That was so cool.
And the charge up's like one of those charge up things you put your phone on or whatever, where it turns into Godzilla. I was like, it's got a charging station
Yeah,
for this
it
ancient
was.
axe. I was like, this
Yeah.
is like Wi-Fi before
Yeah.
Wi-Fi was, it's so amazing.
That's
It
so
was
It's like
true.
a USB connection.
Yeah. It was beautifully shot too. Really.
But I
Oh
thought
my
it was
God,
great
that
that Kong got to do the coup de grace because I think my analysis of the fights between the two of them it was like 2 out of 3 Godzilla won, including in the last fight
Yeah.
between the two of them. He pretty much almost killed Kong.
Yep.
But it could have gone either way. And
I'll
No,
do-
no. All right.
Go on.
No,
Oh,
you-
let me throw in my interpretation quick, Crystal. It was
Yes.
like it was rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla. Godzilla beat King Kong. King Kong beat Mechagodzilla.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought. No, like at the
What the hell?
last scene when Godzilla has his foot on Kong and they scream at each other, it's basically like, and then Godzilla knows he may be able to, like do something, but Kong would still fight, I think. And then
I
they
hate
basically
you,
were saying, they were both saying that they were equals. They
He's
were, and it's like, this is just a waste of my time. And that's why he just walked away. Because all they were going to do is keep fighting each other and no one was really going to win. It's just a back and forth between them.
No, he could have totally killed him.
I don't
He
think so.
was just basically telling him, "Stay down, bitch. I got
Yeah.
you."
I
And
kind of
walks
felt like
off.
that
To
too.
me,
No,
that's
no,
more badass.
No.
Who stopped his heart? Kong's only alive because that guy did some
That's true.
He
boo-hoo
would've
stuff with
died
he
otherwise.
started
No.
his heart up again.
No. No.
The Nile ain't a river in Egypt. but I will say, I went into this, like I said, expecting that they were going to be yay Kong,
love
boo
Kong.
Godzilla. And it's mostly a Kong movie.
Mhm.
But by the end of the movie, I was very much, I'm not on Kong's side over Godzilla, but I happen to like Kong a
Really?
lot more now than I did going into the movie. I'll be perfectly happy watching another King Kong movie. I think they really made a good character out of him in this. And I respect it.
Okay, but I
As well I
gotta
should, because he
say,
could kill me.
I think he actually did hard.
the times where they showed Godzilla. Okay, I think more people are Team Godzilla because just
Yeah.
Godzilla is just super BA.
He's a dinosaur.
But I
You win.
Yeah.
I loved when they did his faces, and he was fucking scary. Like when I was like, oh god, it's so good, it's so good.
Well, I love
Like,
too that they made his
yes!
eyes blue when he lit up because they didn't
He's like,
do that before, and I like that you see
spooky.
it coming from all of him. Yeah,
I mean, come on, when he's swimming and it's like he's with all the blue, you're like, you're dead, Kong, you're dead.
So does Godzilla not run out of power with his power breath at some point?
Not anymore,
No.
apparently. Yeah, I mean, you're
He's
right.
like supercharged.
In the first movie, we had to wait the whole damn movie for him to use his breath, and we jumped up and it was all cool. He did it like twice. In the second movie, he did it a lot more. In this one, he doesn't have an off switch. He's just
Yeah, and I think that's the
everywhere.
only thing I didn't like because I feel like that's when you have to equal the power level there. Because if he could just like continue,
Yeah,
all the time, then you it's kind of hard to fight against that.
yeah.
Well, one of the interesting things I saw is that Adam Wingard not only had answer to Legendary and Warner Brothers, but also Toho, because Toho owns the rights to Godzilla and always will. And Godzilla cannot show emotion, right? It's always supposed to be.
He did though.
But they got away with it. They snuck it in because of what you were mentioning. The eyes, the looks, right? I guess they did the Kubrick stare, right? They gave him the Kubrick stare.
But he almost got an evil smile. Like he's like.
You're telling me that Toho,
That's
the
so
studio that had Godzilla dancing and talking and doing all the goofy crap that he's done,
That's why. Yep.
they
don't want
got
that
balls.
They don't want that to happen again.
They
But
don't want
anyway,
it to be silly.
Yeah, but he got away with it, and they let him have it. So and I think it works great because it's subtle, right?
Yeah.
It's
it's scary. It's not
Right,
cheesy.
right. Kong, of course, is very much more. Emotes a whole lot. Of course, he's
He's a
Well,
primate.
I think that's why I kind of lean more towards the Kong because I feel like Godzilla just comes off as a brute. You know what I mean? And it's almost like he doesn't mean to help people. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'll just go in this direction and do this. And Kong has reasons why he does certain things. And I think this is probably one of the better representations of Kong, just based on giving him a little bit more intelligence. This time, intelligence and emotion. So
he can speak. He actually can speak.
Yeah.
it says home.
Which is one of the funniest. I mean, as much as I don't normally like the people part, I do like the whole coward bit. When that came back, I laughed so loud because I was like, "That's primo dialogue."
She was incredible.
Kaylee Hoddle was great. Yeah, she plays the young girl, Kaylee Hoddle. And she actually comes from an all deaf family, if you guys didn't know that. And
wow.
And that's part of her character here. Yeah, and it's the relationship that she has with Kong, I think, gives this movie a lot of life that it might not have had. We complain about human characters, but that element alone really works here.
Well, especially when she's talking to him and saying, he's not your enemy. And she's crying and having to wipe. I mean,
and then he's like, I don't know.
I don't think that's how that was translated. That's more the Crystal translation, but.
Well, I like too when they were trying to get Kong to, go down, right? Go down the hole from the Antarctic. From the Antarctic. So they didn't lie to him,
Right.
She said,
he said maybe.
Maybe.
Well,
we don't know for sure. They might be there. And I thought that was kind of nice as opposed to our normal scientific manipulation of people. Scientists.
I said I didn't like the human characters, but I did like the little girl. And I actually did like Rebecca Hall, too, because I've always liked her as an actress. She just has a natural, likable quality to her. So, they were fine. But for the most part, most of the human stuff, I honestly, I don't dislike her as an actress, but I would have cut out all the Molly Brown stuff.
It felt a little bit shoehorned into it, and then just the possibility of her reuniting with her dad amidst all the chaos. There's no way. I think
he goes to Hong Kong. one of the most populated cities on Earth. Now, admittedly, by the end of this movie, it's a lot less
Maybe not so
populated.
much.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The odds of him running into her are 0. But
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the movie,
There's a
so
lot
this
of-
is the movies, yeah.
Got there in a hurry
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, was he already in Hong Kong? Like, did I miss something?
Well, I
here?
didn't get that because they said he was when she went and talked to him, he was at a monarch relief camp.
Mhm.
I didn't quite get what is a
In
monarch.
Florida. It was
It
in
was in
Florida.
Florida, Pensacola, yeah. Because
Yeah.
And that's so then he'd still have to go past
If he
California
was still
and
there,
then
yeah.
that flight
I don't
is
know.
long.
Yeah.
So
It's
I-
movie travel. Movie
I-
travel.
movies-
I really like the
He jumped in the tube over at Apex.
yeah. I like the conspiracy theorist guy. I like
Oh, yeah?
that aspect of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I thought that was super fun. I like that he was in there spreading all his little rumors, but also being the guy to kind of like expose things in a way. I guess really to only to the Millie Bobby Brown character, but I thought it was fun to have someone like that around, kind of carrying the story.
The tap thing was hilarious to me.
So silly.
Tap or not, and then he's like, "What? What?" The friend, it's like, "Oh, she doesn't drink it, so it's probably good for the both of you." What?
Yeah, she'll make decisions for the both of you.
Yeah.
Well, what do we think of Damian Bitcher as the corporate bad guy? I thought he was fantastic. I liked him as the corporate bad guy.
It was a nice change to what I've seen him play before, and he did well.
I didn't care that much about any of the people
I mean,
except
Well, I
for the
mean,
little girl.
yeah.
I loved the little girl. I think she made the movie because I loved the signing thing. Other than that, I could have not had anyone.
I just look forward to when those characters would die.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
They did,
He
and
had a
daughter,
good
when-
death.
When
They
his
should've-
What are you guys
daughter
looking at?
died, that was awesome. I was like, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
He had a good death when
Yeah.
he's giving his mad scientist monologue, and he doesn't realize it, but we do that. Mecha Godzilla is coming toward him with ill intent in his eyes.
Well, that
so that's kind of fun.
That's
Glad
one
he
of my
killed his
favorite
daughter.
lines after that too.
They
He's like,
killed his
man,
daughter,
I wanted to hear the rest of that speech.
Yes.
It's like the Sam Jackson thing in Deep
Yeah,
Blue
that's-
Sea.
Yes, that's exactly what it
Exactly
Yep.
right.
That was one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Oh my God, you aren't kidding. Can there be more Kongs? And I mean, did they
In the-
maybe miss them in Hollow Earth? Could there be more?
I
No,
thought that
there
was
can
going to
be only one.
No, I thought that was going to be the post-credit sequence. In fact, if they had come to me, as they never
Oh.
do, but if they had come to me and said, what should be our post-credit sequence? Kong should come across a smaller version of himself stuck in
Aw.
quicksand and take him out, because that would be a callback to Son of Kong.
Son of Kong, yeah.
Oh,
That would be
and
so cute.
The 6 of you here are the only people on Earth who would have gotten the reference, but it would have been
I didn't get it. I didn't want to get that reference.
No, it was good.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, I
We'll
was hoping
see.
there'd be some. I don't know where they would fit. I mean, this is supposed to be like 30 years or so after Kong Skull Island, so you could put, there could be other stuff that happened in between there. Fit someplace else on the timeline.
Well,
Of
what?
Monarch.
There's so many other. I mean, I don't know if there
A
should
lot of
be
other creatures,
any
kaijus,
other
too.
Kongs. Yeah, there's like 17 Titans or something. So
That's true. We didn't get to see all of them.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Like-
there's a smog monster out there somewhere, right, Bill?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I just can't wait for the
The
bird.
Jaguar,
What is it? The
King
crane
Caesar,
or
that's some
the
fun ones, right?
what is it? Ugh, horrible.
All right. I think we should wrap this up. Let's go ahead and give our final thoughts for Godzilla vs. Kong. What we're going to do is final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. But before we do, if you're still watching, and we hope you are, and we hope you're enjoying these reviews, please, if you want to help out, it's easy and it's free. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button or share with a friend. Either way helps us
Yeah.
a great deal. If you want to get a little more involved, I don't know what you're pointing at, Crystal, but keep doing it.
I was trying to find the bell, the subscribe, or bill.
We need to get. We need to
whatever.
get the little girl to translate what she said.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hit the like button or dislike button. I think we may have pushed you in one direction there. Hit the bell to get reminded. Give us some comments. What'd you think? What'd you think? Where can they go next? I want to hear that. Yes. We also want to take a quick moment to thank our patrons over at Patreon who, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do not only the HNR show, but Decades of Horror, Heroes and Droids, and Gruesome Magazine, which we are all on in some form or the other. All right, let's do this. Our final thoughts, our score, and favorite scene, same order. Vanessa, you are up first.
Me first. I loved this movie. I thought it was a great cap to the trilogy that we've gotten. I love them all together. I love the one with Jack Black. I want them all. You're not going to hear me complain too much about a Kong or a Godzilla movie because I'm just happy to get more of this content. I love the fights. I love the way it looked. There was a lot of kind of terrible dialogue between our human characters.
Oh, yes.
There were some things that, but at the same time, who cares, right? When you're watching something like this, you're just watching it to have a good time and to see these big giant monsters fight and beat the crap out of each other. And I like that we got a bromance. I'm not mad about that. I like that we got our little kaiju bromance. And I hope that at some point, whenever we find out what they're going to do next in the universe, that this comes back around and they work together or, whatever happens. I'm here for it. I'm ready to see it. Maybe I could have done with more Kyle Chandler. Is that my biggest complaint? Maybe.
Kyle Chandler's the only actor that was in the Peter Jackson film Gong and this Gong.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, wow.
He was so beautifully tan in both.
It's all about the eyes, really. Right?
I know. Oh my gosh, Mechagodzilla! I loved the tie to King Ghidorah. I love that they used that in order to power him. I love that fight, that final fight. There's every time our kaiju were on the screen, you couldn't go wrong at all. So I think I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
4.5.
Yes,
All right.
4.5.
Yep.
Because honestly, I love all these movies, but I think Skull Island was probably my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me
Nice.
too.
Out of all of them.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah,
Tom
I love the
Hiddleston.
way. Yeah. I love the way it was shot. I love the music that they used in it. I loved the actors that were in it, everything about that one. But everything, just this whole universe is awesome to me. Favorite scene? Oh my god.
Got so many to choose from.
Yeah. everything where they're on screen.
Oh.
Well, I really, really, really like the reveal that the axe was made from a piece of Godzilla. So everything is my favorite. But if I have to pick one thing that kind of caught me off guard and that I really liked that they did was that. And I like that is how he was able to channel this radioactive power and use it against him and then use it against Mechagodzilla because then they had to work together that way. I really, really like that a lot.
It really works. All right, Crystal, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, 1 to 5, and your favorite scene.
So obviously, I love the freaking movie, and I think you should see it. And I too I give it a 4.5.
Nice.
I'm totally. I mean, yeah. Are there flaws? Yes, but it's a Godzilla King Kong movie, so duh. That's absolutely going to be the way it is. But it's fantastic, and they are really. One of them is on the screen most of the time. I would actually like to see someone time it. Thankfully, there's way less humans. So
You're right.
humans.
You're really right.
Yeah, I mean, even like when they're traveling, he's there. It's fabulous.
Human.
Humans. But I'm all Ferengi. But so I think that my favorite scene is. It has to be when they're screaming at each other.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
I just felt it. I'm like, you guys just gotta work it out. It's sad.
Just
Yeah.
scream it out, guys. Just scream it out.
Just scream it out. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta. You gotta get it out.
Gotta get it out. All right.
Yep.
Bill Mulligan, let's do you next, sir. Your final thoughts, your score, and your favorite scene.
I guess it's unanimous. 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh, yay.
Really, really liked it. Favorite scene is probably when Godzilla powers up the axe by breathing on it.
Nice.
Because I didn't see it coming, and I should have, because they established that that's what happens when his breath hits it, and it makes it powerful, and it was a perfect thing. And one of the bad things about watching a lot of movies, and maybe even worse, making movies, you start to see the clues that they put into screenplays. He's like, okay, this is going to pay off later on. It's hard to be taken by surprise. So I'm glad that I was. I should have known it, but I didn't. And I just thought that was great. I really like this a lot. I like both the characters. This is my favorite of the Monsterverse, but it's also made me want to go back and watch Skull Island again, because I think I'm going to appreciate Kong more now that I know where this is going. I was really afraid they were using Kong as what they were going to go to after they lost the rights to Godzilla. So I fully expected Kong was going to beat Godzilla totally in this fight, in this movie, which didn't really happen. It's more ambiguous. So that took me by surprise, and it makes me happy. And I hope Toho is smart enough to, and that the movie is successful enough to, let's do this again.
Me too.
I was very happy with it.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. I hope so. All right, Jeff Moore, your final thoughts, your score, favorite scene.
I love this, and it has its flaws, but based on how much I like it, and I did go back last weekend, I watched Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of the Monsters, and so it was like, oh, and I actually watched the Godzilla one that comes before that starts out the Monarch thread kind of, and I loved all of it, and this was like the perfect cap, I thought, because I'd heard all of who's going to win. I kept seeing all this stuff on social media, who's going to win, and I didn't really want anybody to win. And I think this was like the perfect solution to it. I did not see anything about Mechagodzilla ahead of time, although I should have known. We'll have to ask Chad, because we just did Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla on 70s.
Oh, wow.
So I'll have to ask if that's why he picked it or not. But even so, they dropped this hint at the beginning of the movie about the high-tech, super robotic Apex Center, right? And it didn't hit me. And even when it got to where they started to show him sort of powering up, you see little pieces around the edges, and we saw the guy in the chair with the halo on or whatever. I started thinking, is this going to be like Pacific Rim? Because that ties in with kaijus too, right? So when it turned out to be Mechagodzilla, then I absolutely knew this is brilliant. Now they're gonna team up together and beat Mechagodzilla. So I thought it was awesome. I wanted to ask a couple of, if you guys noticed this, because I also went back and watched King Kong versus Godzilla from 62.
The 60s? Yeah.
There was a couple of things in there that I thought got carried through, although maybe changed. So in that one, there's a scene where they transport King Kong with a bunch of balloons.
Yeah.
And a net.
Oh my god,
Yep.
that's right.
And in this one, they did it with helicopters and ospreys.
Yeah.
That definitely is.
And then the
It's
other thing
all
was,
very
I read this, I didn't think about it at the time, that in King Kong versus Godzilla, it was the first time there was other than a blonde that was enthralled by Godzilla. Well, it's a Japanese character. Or by King Kong. It's a Japanese character, so it's not Fei Ray. It's not, I forget the name of the character in Son of Kong. It's not Jessica Lange. And in 60s, that was it. You're right, that was it. It was King Kong, Son of Kong, I think. Before that, but this was similar. This was the first time. The only other time it's been somebody with dark hair.
I'm happy about that.
And you could add Jessica Lange and Naomi Watts to that list. So I thought that was a couple of interesting callbacks that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. I'm giving this a 5 just because I like it so much, and I'm going to watch it so many more times. It's not perfect, but I think it's perfect at a perfect cap. Despite any of the problems I had. My favorite scene is, without a doubt, the time I cheered the most was when Kong gets up and he puts his shoulder back in place.
Oh yeah. That was
like,
a great one.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway,
He's so smart.
sorry to go on long, Doc, but yeah.
I like that.
That was so badass.
It was. Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, favorite scene.
I think this is one of the better blockbuster films in a very long time for me, and it's definitely one of the best of the Monsterverse. And it checks all the boxes for me when it comes to making one of these films. With these amazing fight, segments. We really don't, even though we do have these annoying humans. It's such a small part of it. It doesn't really take away from like seeing these monsters fight or just focusing more on the monsters. And this is what this is all about. And it's not one of those things to where you have all these different same type of places or whatever. We have all these sort of magnificent locations we go to, whether it's the Hollow Earth or it's even like the digital Kong Island or or the Hong Kong scenes or whatever. I mean, there's just so many amazing visual masterpieces when it comes to setting these characters in this environment and just letting them go at it. This is just amazing. I loved every minute of it, and even if there's certain things that kind of bother me, like the Tron vehicles, where it's like when's Bruce Boxleitner going to show up?
Nice.
But then I realized, this is a sci-fi action thing, so it's more, sometimes it's more about creating this interesting style and having fun with it. And I really didn't hate the characters that much. You can sort of understand where they're shoehorned in, but the main thing is you come to see these two behemoths fight, and that's what happened. And it's some of the most amazing fight choreography, some really fantastical things with the storytelling that as someone just like Bill, a lot of times I make movies and you're a lot of times you're 20 minutes ahead of the characters and you're like, I know where this is going. I really didn't know how this was going to play out. I had so many people saying, well, they're not going to let Godzilla lose, so Kong's got to lose. So yeah, this is it's just amazing. I mean, I really, watching this, I felt like, even though I wasn't in a theater, I felt like a little kid in the theater watching this. This is the best way to do this. I think this is amazing. It definitely gets a 5 out of 5 for me. Even though it has flaws, there's enough things in it to overrule those flaws and just focus on the badassery that happens in this. As for favorite scene, I call it the Kung Fu scene, where King Kong is using his little axe and just cutting that neck of Godzilla like a badass. And I was like cheering, and then Godzilla helps him out. It's like this is what this is all about. And I think the only thing that's missing from this film is not seeing it in a theater with a whole group of people that we could all cheer together and clap together and scream together and say, yeah, kick his ass in theater, which I was doing in my living room, and my neighbors thought I was crazy, and probably I'll be in a straight jacket later tonight. But I love this film. I can't wait to watch it again, and I can't wait to get tickets to see it at the Alamo Draft House here.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that I think we all agree that we want to see this movie again. Maybe Jeff has already seen it 5 times. We want to see this movie again. And okay, so we wanted Godzilla versus Kong, and we got it. There's 3 epic battles throughout the film, and then there's part of the third battle is actually a 4th battle with Mega Godzilla. It delivers in that 100%. The world building that's piled on top of it, and the center Earth building that's underneath it. Yes, the human characters are still the weak part, but I think they're better here. With the only exception for me is like Skull Island. I really like the human character in Skull Island. I thought that one really worked. But I mean, it made sense. There were 2 storylines. We had 2 groups of people. We had a bad guy doing, mustache twirling stuff. So it all worked. And is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. There are some really, movie science flaws in this, and time things, and coincidences, and conveniences. And who cares? It delivers. I mean, the effects are beautiful. The lighting is beautiful. The camera work, the camera decisions that Adam Wingard uses. I mean, because he's not working with human characters half the time. He's working with these digital models, and some of the shots that he chose, like the shot with the two of them screaming at each other is, it's like, what is it, the Swedish angle or whatever? I don't know my terminology, but it's like
Dutch,
that on
the Dutch
Dutch
angle.
angle.
Yeah.
The Dutch angle on steroids, and it's like
Swedish
really
angle.
far. But the colors involved with that are, it's just really smart, wonderful choices. Really get into, I mean, Kong makes it because Kong has the arc in here. And I don't know, to me, it was exactly what I was hoping for, and it delivered. So I have to give it a 5. I have to give it a 5 because it delivered what I wanted. And I can't wait to watch it again and again and again and again over the next
Before it
month.
goes away.
Yeah.
Oh,
my,
so can buy it.
yeah, my favorite scene
Yeah.
was probably when Kong looked at Godzilla and said, if you don't help me, they're going to kill Martha.
Oh my god.
Kill Mothra.
Mothra, yes. All right, no, that wasn't it.
Save
Wow.
Mothra.
That fell pretty flat. That was kind of cool. I
You just Snyder cut that out.
Yeah,
I thought you said Martha, and you were talking about Superman versus Batman.
Actually,
That's
yeah.
if you have to explain the joke, it's not.
Is
a
it
good joke.
is it worse that somebody else has to come in and explain the joke? I think that makes it worse, right? That makes it
Oh
worse.
yeah.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Although I will say that the scene where the ship goes by Kong's face, I was
Oh,
like, I felt
yeah.
like I was on a Universal ride. I was like, please make that into a ride because I
It's gonna
want
be-
to
Yeah.
ride.
movie, yeah. So so everything in Hong Kong is fantastic. I really loved them, going through the city. It just reminded me of what I loved about watching Godzilla films as a kid, and then and later on, and even right. But I'm really going to choose the whole Hollow Earth. I think there's so much potential there. I've always been fascinated with that, the at the Earth's core kind of storylines, and I know it's preposterous and stuff like that, but at the same time, I thought they realized it in a wonderful way. Like when he does that weird gravity leap through the rocks, and when they actually entered
That was really
they
cool.
When
That he
the
figured
whole-
that out. Yeah.
yeah, just how he figured it out, right? And the whole explanation about the reverse gravity and what it does, I don't know. I love that world building that they did in that segment. And of course it ends on that too. And I want to see more. I want to see more of that, right? I just really love it.
It was almost like the Da Vinci painting with God and man,
Oh,
because there's that
when
hand
they
of the
roll.
rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's
well,
it's
and then
beautiful.
she touches.
Well, then I'm touching.
That
Yeah.
too. That too. Yeah. So there's that connection as well.
Yeah,
Symmetry.
they did a good job with that. That and yep. So there's all. I mean, there's eye candy all over the place. It's a great
Yeah.
movie.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, almost. You know how much of a relief it is to come out of it knowing that it's not.
I know. I was worried.
Because it could have sucked. And
Yeah.
there was rumors about it. Not you hear all kinds of internet things about
Yeah.
it. Not,
No way.
not screening.
That's
well,
why you stay off
no.
the internet. The
I
internet is
know.
poo poo doo
Internet
doo.
lies.
Okay.
Troll, it's crazy. And then, of course, getting delayed, but it's hard to say anything about a delayed film now because every movie's delayed. But
Sure.
it just makes you nervous. But it, I don't know, it worked, it delivered, and I'm so happy. I am so happy.
Mhm.
Me too.
All right, there you
Yes.
go. That's
Yes.
our review
This was-
for. Go ahead.
This was more about too that I think about the women that Kong had in the other movies. In this
Yes.
one, it was a child, so it was much more about home and family. Than
Oh yeah, that too.
Than
Oh my
about
god.
sleazy pulling her clothes off. I can't believe I just kept talking while you were doing that.
Right. Between Vanessa's
It's
mask
so
and the little cat in the
cute.
back doing this, there's no. I
I
can't
know,
remember what you were
it's
saying.
all perfect.
It might be my.
That's a fan favorite. I didn't have
Yeah,
it in
it's
here.
lucky.
Yeah,
Yes,
people were like,
yes.
"Where's the cat?"
Yeah, you had to bring it back in. All right, well, there you go. That's our review for Godzilla vs. Kong and our extra long episode. I knew it was going to go long. But I'm so glad that we got to do this. I hope you stuck around and watched it. If you did, thank you all so much. And we hope you enjoy not only this review, but other reviews that we have in our library of reviews here on YouTube and on our podcast, Apple Podcasts, and various other places. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining. Christopher, Vanessa, Crystal, Jeff, Bill. It was great. This was a great crew. This
Yeah,
is kind
that's
of
fun.
like
Thank you.
throughout all our podcasts. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we all liked it too, so that made it a lot
That helps.
easier.
Yeah, there was no
That's-
arguing.
yeah.
Yeah, this was a big love fest. Yes. All right. With that, I suppose we should say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
It's so awesome. It's so ugly. I love it. Oh my god.
Who you calling ugly?
Bye.
Yeah.